MONSTERATHON Challenge 2. Ah, ah, ah. Hey, what's up guys, it's Steph, okay, and today we are here with the MONSTERATHON Challenge number 2. Let's go and talk about some fears and bring on some existential dread. The second MONSTERATHON Challenge is to take your fears and combine them with book recommendations, just kind of mash everything together. Take your fears and just give them to other people in the form of books and a story that they may enjoy. Meanwhile, you sit in dread and panic just thinking about how they lock back to your fear. It's all fun. I've got 3 books that I want to talk to you guys about and a couple fears. This actually took a bit of thinking about because, like, there's so many things that I'm afraid of, but it's like, that's kind of dark and I don't really have a book to relate to that. That book can kind of relate to this fear, but I haven't read it yet, so I don't really want to recommend it in case it's not good or whatever reason. It's just, I don't know, man, this one's a little bit tough, but also super, super interesting, and I really love Kate's video, Chapter Kate. She announced it on her channel. I'll link that down below. Yell at me if I don't, because sometimes I forget after the edit, because editing stuff is somewhere else after the video is edited and uploaded. Uploading stuff is a whole other person who just forgets everything she says in the videos. Anywho, my first and probably most irrational fear that I have and ever will have is that my first fanfiction, a self-insert big time rush fanfiction, will somehow get out into the world and people will know what I did when I was like a freshman in high school in like my last year of junior high, because I was like feeling really alone and I just really liked big time rush, and I'd heard of fanfiction, never really read it, so I just made a self-insert because why not? It doesn't exist anywhere on the internet. It exists in a notebook somewhere in my things. Like, there's no way that it could ever get out and no one could ever like find it on like Wattpad or something and be like, look, I found the thing, and like no one knows how cringe it really is. Only I know. You guys may know it exists, but only I know the true cringe that exists within that story. Dear God. My recommendation for that is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This one is about Eliza, who writes fan fiction online. She has this huge community around her that no one in her real life really knows about. She's kind of a loner in her real life, and she's done a really good job of keeping those lives separate, but then it kind of gets leaked that she is the big one in this account, and everything just comes crumbling down. People, like, her whole little world that she's built, it just comes crumbling down, and she has to deal with the consequences. And I thought it was a really good story. There's a cool format of, you'll get the story, and you'll get glimpses into, like, the artwork from her webcomic, or, not webcomic. She didn't write fanfiction, she had the webcomic, and then a boy she meets wrote fanfiction for her webcomic. Excuse my interruption, it's been a hot minute since I read this book. Yeah, it's really cool. You have, like, text message exchanges, you have email exchanges, you have, like, bits in the story and, like, illustrations. It's really cool, and it's a really enjoyable story. Came out last year or the year before. I don't know, I've had this book for a while, and it's a really fun book, and if you haven't read it, I recommend it if you like fan fiction, the kind of fandom-centered stories. This is a really cool example of being a creator behind the scenes, and I really enjoyed it myself. Next up is The Unknown, which is pretty much all of the future. I'm in a constant state of terror. For that, I've gone with rules for 50-50 chances, where we follow our main character, whose name I have forgotten. What is her name? Her name is Rose. Rose's mother suffers from Huntington's disease, I believe is the disease she suffers from, and it is something that Rose has a 50-50 chance of inheriting. There is a test she can take to find out if she is going to have it later in life, and it'll let her know whether she does or doesn't, but either way she has like a half and half chance of inheriting the disease. She's watching her mother like just so quickly after the diagnosis just fall apart and just fall away and lose herself to this disease, and it terrifies her. It's horrible, and she has to live with the fact that she doesn't know if she's gonna inherit this, if she's looking at her potential future by watching her mother slowly lose herself to the disease. It was a really interesting read. It was a really emotional read, and I really enjoyed this book. I believe I read this for Sabathon last year, and it was just extremely emotional when you read it. It really hits your heart. It really, like, you feel it inside, like, it hurts. It's a really good book, but it hurts. Next up, for my third and last rational fear that I'm going to fear with you, because there's no way I'm going to tell you all of them. You'll send the bees on me. The bees know. The bees work for the bourgeoisie. That doesn't work, but The book that I chose to match my irrational fear, not really that irrational, this one is more irrational fear of knowing something and knowing the outcome of something and being absolutely powerless to change it or stop like the negative outcome, the negative effects it's going to have. And for that, I'm going with They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. You monster, Adam Silvera. This book was fairly popular on BookTube when it came out because Adam Silvera is one of the BookTube babe authors, so he is one of those BookTube babies. Like, everyone loves his stuff. And rightfully so for this book. I really enjoyed it. In this book, there's a thing called Deathcast, and on the day you're going to die, you get a phone call from Deathcast, and they tell you within the next 24 hours, you're gonzo, and there's nothing you can do to prevent it. You can try, but somehow, some way, you're gonna die. There is absolutely no avoiding it. These forces from above somehow know your death date, and they let you know, and that's all you've got. You've got that time limit until midnight that night, and you're gone. There's nothing you can do about it. You just have to live that day knowing that you're gonna be dead by the end of it. And it's honestly terrifying to think about. Like, this book haunts me at times. Like, I'll just be having a good day, and then I'll just be thinking about, like, imagine if Deathcast was real. And then the whole thing with Adam Silvera getting a phone call where someone said they were from Deathcast. It's like, what a practical prank to play on people in the book community. Just give them a call, say you're from Deathcast. No panic at all. It's like, imagine getting a phone call, being told you're going to die before midnight that night. You don't know when, you don't know how, you don't know if it's going to be painful, quick, long, prolonged. You just know it's going to happen. You can't control how or when or where or who or why. It's just going to happen, and that's horrifying. And there you guys go. I hope you've been filled with dread like me and my fears. My monster-a-thon is going pretty good so far. I've been trying to keep up the 100 pages a day. I have been slacking with the amount of days that I have not read any pages. It's almost added up to a week at the point that of me filming this video, so it's almost added up to me a week of not reading anything, but most days I've gotten at least my 100 pages, or a little bit of something. Like, I try for those 100 pages each day, but sometimes I just don't get it. Be sure to check out these 3 books, because I really did love them. These 2 are fairly hyped on BookTube. This one I never really saw too much about, so if you do check it out, please let me know. If you have read it, please let me know. I really enjoyed it. I love to hear other people's thoughts on it. Yeah, that's all I've got for you guys today. Make sure you check out my other Monster-a-thon challenge where we did the bookish monster. I drew mine. A lot of people did book monsters, and theirs were so freaking cute. I saw someone, they made like a monster with their pencil in their book. That was so freaking cute. It was on book Twitter. I don't know who it was, but the Monster-a-thon account like quote tweeted it, so I'm sure you could find it if you go back through their stuff a little bit. You can also check out my Monster-a-thon TBR to see what I've been trying to read, although have I been sticking to it? Kinda. Anywho, I hope you have a lovely day / night, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.